If you're waiting to feel motivated to become her, you've already given your power away. Because I'll tell you this, your standards change with your mood. You don't have them. Becoming her is not a mood. It's truly a decision. And today we're talking about how emotionally mature women take leadership back, especially when life gets messy, loud, and exhausting. This is the Maven Matriarch. My name is Bianca Burke, and here is where we build women to lead in the home, in business, and most importantly, within themselves. Now, I want to start off by saying if becoming her required feeling motivated first, most women would never even get there because inconsistency isn't a discipline issue, it's a governance issue. Emotions are running the show instead of your standards. Emotions have their place, and I totally respect that. But emotions can also be fleeting. They change with sleep or lack thereof. They change with hormones, with stress, with with the seasons. I mean, you know, with anything. Standards, though, standards don't change. I'll give you an example. You say, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. That's a preference. Standards will say, this is who I am. I act accordingly, even on the days that I don't feel like it, even on the days that it's inconvenient, right? And when your standards are clear, when they're clear, your behavior becomes predictable. And that is how your trust with yourself, in yourself, is built. So, this episode, we want to talk about how high caliber women, how high caliber moms, how matriarchs move without waiting for alignment or energy or things to feel good, right? Or good vibes, right? For me, there have been days where the last thing I wanted to do was to stick to a commitment that I made to myself, right? To keep that commitment. And I remember most significantly during postpartum days, it was very hard. Um, I hadn't slept, my body didn't feel like mine. And, my emotionally, I was flat. I wasn't inspired. I wasn't motivated to do anything. I was just tired. And I remember thinking, I don't even feel like showing up today, right? But then I realized, wait, this is not about how I feel. This is about who I've decided to be. And already by that point, I decided that I wanted more, right? So I ended up getting up, not doing everything, but I did one aligned thing, just one. And that one decision truly kept my standards intact. That's what personal governance looks like, especially on unglamorous days. I say all of that to say motivation can be very unreliable. Okay. Because although I wasn't motivated in that moment to do anything, I still did it. It wasn't motivation. I want to demote motivation for you because a lot of people, to me, it's overrated, right? It's it's truly hormonal. It's circumstantial. It's it's very reactive. And why motivation fails women, especially us moms, is because we are sleep deprived. We do have our plates full. We've gone through an intense transition from womanhood to motherhood and intense identity shifts. And we also go through the emotional labor, right? The emotional labor that no one sees and we don't talk about and we don't show. frankly. And the truth is that if your standards depend on how you feel or if they depend on motivation, then they aren't standards anymore. They're just preferences, right? So I remember a time when I felt like I needed to feel ready, right? There was a season truly where I knew exactly what I wanted to build. And this was about, it started about when my child was about 1. And I felt like, okay, I think I'm ready to, at this point, to start to build my business, build my brand, right? I knew what I wanted, but I kept telling myself, oh, I'm not ready yet. Maybe I'm not ready yet. Maybe I'm not ready. Not ready emotionally, not ready physically, right? I had gained like 50 pounds. How can I, put myself out there? Not ready with my schedule. I have a toddler that needs me 24/7. I was just not ready. I didn't have the perfect plan. I had no idea what I was doing. So I waited. I told myself, this is responsible of me to wait, to be strategic, to be patient, right? And what I really was doing was letting that doubt that I had, that uncertainty sit in the driver's seat. That's what was making the decisions in that moment, right? And during that waiting time, the momentum died because I had all these great ideas. I had all this energy. I had the initial spark, right? The urge, the inspiration to build, but I didn't take action toward it. And so my confidence dipped, you know, and things start, all those negative, you know, self talks get into your head. And the energy I had around even the idea started to fade. And what really felt excited, it started to feel heavy. And it wasn't because it was wrong, it was because I wasn't moving, right? I was stagnant, I was stuck. And what happens with energy when it doesn't move, when nothing comes of it, there's no movement, it dissipates. Eventually, I realized I wasn't going to wake up one day and just feel ready. Okay. It hit me. I stopped waiting. Okay. And I decided to choose one small aligned action that was going to start me in the right direction. It wasn't anything dramatic, no big announcement, just some sort of movement. And almost immediately, I could feel the change because things did change. And I say feel because even though it wasn't an external change, it was internal. It was within me. And that's the most important change. The clarity followed the action, right? As you take the step, it becomes more clear. It's kind of like stepping in fog. As you step, it starts to, dissipate and starts to get clearer. And the energy returned, right? You start to get excited again. And the confidence truly caught up as you take those steps towards your goals. Confidence naturally, you know, gains momentum. And it's not because the circumstances shift, right? Like I said, not it's not the circumstances or the external, but it's because who leadership did. The way that I was leading myself changed. That was the moment that I learned that readiness isn't a feeling. It truly is a byproduct of movement. Now, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I know it's so hard, but it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. I hear it all the time. Yes, it's hard. Things are hard, especially if you're not one, if you're doing it for the first time. Two, if you don't ever do it, if you've never done it, it's going to feel hard. But after you get through it, it becomes easy. It's like anything, right? You keep doing it, you keep doing it, it becomes easier and easier, right? And so, how do matriarchs move when it's hard, right? Matriarchs don't move in a hustle way. It's not a hustle and a grind, right? And it took me a while to realize that. It took me a while to realize that it's truly done through regulated leadership, through calm, through the way that you make decisions, right? Through your discernment, through consistency. Matriarchs don't ask, well, do I feel like it? No, they ask, what does the woman that I am becoming do next? What does she do? Because discipline is not force. Discipline is truly through identity alignment, because it truly takes discipline from an aligned identity to build something up with a baby on your lap, with a toddler sitting nearby. And that's what makes moms, matriarchs, so amazing. You don't need to feel powerful to move. The movement actually creates that power. And what goes hand in hand with that are your emotions, because I touched on that earlier and I don't want to downplay that, because emotions are important. And more important than that, emotional maturity and emotional intelligence is the real success. That's the real skill. When you elevate emotional regulation, that's everything. When you're emotionally immature, you can say, oh, I'm just not in the mood, and that be okay. Or, I just need to get back to it. No, when you're emotionally mature, that sounds like, you know what, this matters, and I'm going to act accordingly. I'm going to get this done. And what are the consequences if I don't do this? Mature women truly understand that emotions are your compass. They are important and they have their place. They are the signal to tell us when something aligns with us or not, right? If something feels good, feels bad, we follow that compass. Now, we let them exist. We just don't let them lead, right? Emotional maturity is not about, you know, never collapsing. It's not about being perfect all the time. Because when life gets heavy, we are human. We can react and it's okay. When it happens, right? How do we do it? How do we deal with it? And the key is to acknowledge it, to allow it, and to release it, right? The key is to ask yourself, okay, once I do that, what do I do next? And then that intentionally shifts yourself back into that emotional maturity, right? From the reactive state, back into that leadership of yourself, right? Back into your standards and into your actions as a leader. That's the difference between reacting to your emotions and governing them. And so leading yourself before leading anyone or anything else is truly the key of this episode, right? You cannot lead a family or a business or a vision if you don't lead your own behavior. It all begins and ends with you. First point is non-negotiables, okay? What are the behaviors that define you? That's what I mean by that. That could look like showing up for your morning routine, showing up on time, saying no to commitments that don't align with your purpose or your priorities. And second, default actions. Now, what I mean by this is your behaviors that you automatically fall back on when things get chaotic, when things do get heavy, when your energy is low, right? Or when you're unsure. That could look like, you know what? You always make your bed in the morning. This is just something that anchors you. Even when things get overwhelming, that is your signal for momentum. Next, identity based decisions. And this is a big one. This is choosing actions not based on emotion or circumstance or convenience or pressure, but choosing, making decisions or choosing actions from the person you are committed to becoming. That is important. Choosing to exercise even when you don't want to. Because guess what? I am a woman who honors my body. That's why, right? Or choosing to follow through on commitments, right? Because I am a woman of integrity, right? I keep my promises to myself. And like choosing to act, right? When you're scared and even when you have fear. Because guess what? I am a woman who leads and I know what I want and I'm going for it. Having a daily standard that you keep regardless of your mood is everything. For me right now, I I am going to share one that I do for me and one that I do for my daughter. So for me, my non-negotiable, my action is meditation. It's one thing that I do because I need to, cleanse energy. I need to come back to, to home, if you want to say that. And the second for my daughter is read. I always, 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 always read every day to my daughter. I read something to her. And she loves it. So, and I don't have to ask her. She's like, I want to read, does she know how important that is for um, her development? And so in closing, I want to share that becoming her is not this big dramatic thing. Okay. It is truly in the small daily actions, the small consistencies, it's in the quiet, it's in the dark, right? And it truly is one decision. And it's decided once that you're her, and then honoring that consistently. It's every day. It's every day that you wake up each morning, intentionally choosing, making every decision from your highest self, from the highest version of you, with no harm to anyone, right? But doing that consistently. And, I want to also urge you to remember that it really is a sweet balance between that structure and the structure and the flexibility. It's truly that yin and yang, the balance between masculinity and femininity. It's that balance that works together within you that is a sweet spot. And I promise you, if you do this, if you focus on this balance, if you focus on this, you will open up so many opportunities that will lead you to the life of your dreams. Now, if today's episode hit home for you, I want to urge you to join my workshop. It's happening on January 18th. This workshop is where we turn the insight truly into action. In the workshop, we focus on three pillars: clarity, confidence, and control. You define your priorities, you set your actions, and you build a structure, ritual, habits, components to create your own weekly reset. This is not theory. This is governance in action. And so if you're ready to stop waiting for motivation, stop waiting for, whatever, and start leading yourself with intention. Join us. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, decide, act, and lead.